SMEs are the backbone of the Philippine economy. Union Bank has laid down the groundwork for creating an ecosystem helping businesses through an integrated user experience connecting key stakeholders in the ecosystem. SMEs can now have immediate access to financial service providers, points of sale or POS, accounting, inventory, human resources, tax and payroll services, supply chain management, and providing business communities and engagement in B2B and B2C marketplaces. In building that ecosystem, Union Bank Global Linker was born. It's an online platform with social networking capabilities that help SMEs manage and grow their businesses. On their first year of launch, they already have 33,000 SMEs signed up in the platform. Their promise: to become a one-stop hub for business owners. 4 pillars. Network with potential partners and suppliers from a global network of SMEs. Engage with thought leaders and create your own topics for discussion. Avail exclusive deals and offers from business solutions that will help aid an SME's business. Create a DIY e-commerce shop, linker.store.
I think one major role that Global Linker plays is its ability to create a digital platform that for business growth. It's a huge help because it provides for an avenue where businesses can interact, learn, and at the same time expand their networks.
But as a social media platform, Global Linker helps build the community of SMEs and link them to the right markets, suppliers, financiers, and advisors.
I've actually established a contact in Philippines who is interested in my product, and we are working on ways how we can do that. So hopefully, it materializes.
The future of the SME sector in the Philippines is endless. With fintech, business growth can accelerate by breaking down barriers, setting up important connections, and moving daily activities. Success is definite. It's just waiting to happen. The growth of SME filters to all levels of the Philippine society. This sector employs more than 60% of Filipinos. So many lives will be transformed with the success of SMEs. Union Bank Global Linker will be there to make it happen. SMEs are the backbone of the Philippine economy. Union Bank has laid down the groundwork for creating an ecosystem helping businesses through an integrated user experience connecting key stakeholders in the ecosystem. SMEs can now have immediate access to financial service providers, points of sale or POS, accounting, inventory, human resources, tax and payroll services, supply chain management, and providing business communities and engagement in B2B and B2C marketplaces. In building that ecosystem, Union Bank Global Linker was born. It's an online platform with social networking capabilities that help SMEs manage and grow their businesses. On their first year of launch, they already have 33,000 SMEs signed up in the platform. Their promise: to become a one-stop hub for business owners. 4 pillars. Network with potential partners and suppliers from a global network of SMEs. Engage with thought leaders and create your own topics for discussion. Avail exclusive deals and offers from business solutions that will help aid an SME's business. Create a DIY e-commerce shop, linker.store.
I think one major role that Global Linker plays is its ability to create a digital platform that for business growth. It's a huge help because it provides for an avenue where businesses can interact, learn, and at the same time expand their networks.
Well, as a social media platform, Global Linker helps build the community of SMEs and link them to the right markets, suppliers, financiers, and advisors.
I've actually established a contact in Philippines who is interested in my product, and we are working on ways how we can do that. So hopefully, it materializes.
The future of the SME sector in the Philippines is endless. With fintech, business growth can accelerate by breaking down barriers, setting up important connections, and moving daily activities. Success is definite. It's just waiting to happen. The growth of SME filters to all levels of the Philippine society. This sector employs more than 60% of Filipinos. So many lives will be transformed with the success of SMEs. Union Bank Global Linker will be there to make it happen.
Hi, good evening, mga taga-bounce. Very, very happy that you're with us today. I'm Jason De La Rosa. I'm the founder of Bounce Back, and I'm very, very excited that we will be launching the first episode of the practical coaching series. And the purpose of this is to be able to give free learning, free education on business, on marketing, on digital marketing, anything that can help you recover this 2021. No? Alam natin na marami nangyari noong 2020. Okay? And it has a lot of USMEs talaga nag-struggle, and a lot of you needed some mentorship and coaching. And moving into 2021, okay, what we wanted to do, okay, is collect all of the top coaches, no, na entrepreneurs also, no, with something to share, collect them, and then share with you their knowledge so that you have the opportunity to learn and to bounce back from this crisis. All right. And I'm happy to say that over 90 coaches have already volunteered to participate in the practical coaching series. The practical coaching series is it's one of the programs of the Bounce Back 2021 campaign and the Digital Bayanihan Initiative. Okay. What the first program that we have is learning and education, which is we're already starting with this series. Number two is we will create programs that will drive sales and the revenue into your business. Okay. So magkakaroon dyan ng mga e-commerce platforms that to help you sell, no? And third is corporate partnership. Okay. And we are talking to a lot of companies that will also help you recover through a lot of programs then. Very, very interesting programs. Okay. So for tonight, yung pinakauna nating speaker, very excited. He's a friend of mine. Okay. Also started with me nung dati pa, March, no, na when we started Bounce Back. So very, very active din siya in helping the SMEs recover. All right? And I'm very happy na siya yung pinakauna, no? Pinaka-first speaker natin for the practical coaching series. All right? And pinakauna siya dahil din sa topic niya. And maganda yung topic niya. Ang topic niya is restarting your business 2021. Okay? So I'd like you to welcome, okay, a good friend of mine, and I will let him introduce himself. Lahat ng mga speakers natin dito sa Bounce Back are all professionals and experts in their field. Okay? So please help me welcome Mr. Nato Agbayani. Nato?
Hello. Good evening. So thank you, Jason, for that introduction. I'm happy to be the maiden episode for the practical coaching series for Bounce Back 2021 Time to Shine. So,
All
um,
right.
uh, so today we're going to do this is the first of a series. So we're going to start with, paano ba tayo magba-bounce back? I mean, 2020, we'll do a little recollection of what happened in 2020 and then we'll proceed to what we can do. Okay. So, all right. Maybe we can share my screen. Ayan, sige. All right. I'll just make it bigger. So, okay. All right. Oh, sorry. All right. So, can you see the screen, everyone? Okay. So, what we're going to do now is really we're going to discuss the threats, beginning points, trends, and opportunities for 2021. So, let me just introduce myself. This is really parang self learning module, no? So, first, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm one of the co-founders of Bounce Back PH movement. So sabi nga ni Jason way back in March when everything was really blurry and it so happened that we were together working on a project for his book. And right now, I'm also the founder and chief consultant of my own firm. It's called Inspire Asia Consultancy. It's really more on mentoring startups and also SMEs and of course advocacies. No? I'm also a family business consultant for Premier Family Business Consulting. And I host and co-produce the family business on the new channel sa Kabilang Network, live stream network. And of course, I mentor Go Negosyo, in Go Negosyo and the UST Innovation Center. I'm also a trustee of the Turismo PH. That's an app that we use for tourism. Although of course we were also hit by the pandemic. So before anything, I'd like to. This is coming from ABS-CBN. I'd like us to just review the photos the pictures that happened. What happened in 2020? So I'll just play this video. Please watch with me, and I'll see you in a while. right. So, um, yeah, sorry. Okay. So, what we have there is the photos of all those people, all the things that happened in 2020. And there's really a lot, diba? Remember when it was 2020, we were saying that, oh, January pa lang, February pa lang, there's so many things that's happening already. So right now, I hate to give you the bad news, but according to, well, the news, that it's current events. I was just watching TV right before this show, and it says that our economy has contracted so much so that this is the first time since World War II, since 1946, that the economy has contracted this bad. So with that, I mean, how do you restart 2021 or moving forward into 2022 and 2023? So let me just share you this slide. Now, what I have here is like, how do we restart it? I think from what I learned in family business consulting and in other things that I've done in consulting with the SMEs and startups, it's really to be, sabi nga ni Jason, it's really to be practical about everything. Let's try to survive this and then probably thrive. Ultimately, yung sinasabi namin is adapt, be adept at it, and of course advance towards the future. So what we have here, I think I'm gonna give you is top 7. Is one is, let's do an inventory of your assets. That's for both fixed and of course intangible assets as well. Let's get an inventory of your key strengths. Then let's ask that question point blank. Let's be straightforward about it. Where did I fail? Then what can be done where I am with what I still have? Then what are the things that I did right and succeeded? So, okay, just a minute. Okay. So, I'm sorry. So, okay, the sound of the video is not so, no, it's not so clear. So what I'm doing now is I'll just share, I'll just maybe give you some talking points of what I need to discuss today. So like what I said, there's number 1, inventory of assets, inventory of key strengths. This is the top 7, my top 7. Where did I fail? And then how can it be done? What can be done where I am and with what I still have? I mean, everybody has lost something, but there's still some things that we have, and that's where we should start from. How are the things that what are the things that I did right and succeeded, and how and where can I get support? Also, what assets do I need to restart, and where do I get them? So I think that's quite clear. So there's top 7. That's my top 7, and I think we can really start with number 1, inventory of assets. When we say inventory of assets, number 1 is we have to understand what fixed assets do I have that I can use to restart my business. So do I have buildings? Do I have cars, or do I have vehicles, or what do I have exactly? Then number 2, what intangible assets do I have that I can use to restart my business? Then also, how can I use these assets to? I remember I remember the lessons we got from when we were still in Congress. I used to work with Speaker Belmonte, and he said it's always best to earn more and spend less. So that's the idea. No, how can I make use of these assets to spend less and earn more? Kasi it's a, sabihin na natin, it's really a crisis situation. So we need to really be agile and resilient. When we say resilient, it's really being able to overcome the things that are happening, the everything, the adversity that's happening around us, and yet still being able to have that clear mind on what to do next. So number 4 is, how much time am I willing to invest in what I want to do? So there's so many things that we can do at any given time. But this is the time where we need to really rethink, maybe unlearn some things, maybe learn new things, and really focus on the things. I don't know if you're familiar with the word ikigai, on things that are closer to your heart, on things that would really you would be able to really move the earth, ika nga. Then how can I involve my own family to support me on this? We do consulting for a lot of families in business. And what's happening right now is it's not really the money, that the resources that they have that saved them from this pandemic. It's really the family's relationship. No, so for example, there are differences in the family. They were able to, settle these differences. I mean, of course, they have different personalities and all. They have different family dynamics, but they were able to understand the fact that during the pandemic and in hard times, it's really relying on your own relatives, on your own family. Even if you have family dynamics, that's where you rely on. We have this weekly meeting with my siblings, and my siblings are everywhere. They're in the US, they're in Abu Dhabi, they're here in the Philippines, they're everywhere. So, that weekly meeting somehow keeps us sane, and we're able to like discuss things as a family. And that I think is one of the most important things. This is not going to go away very soon. Initially, when the pandemic started, we were saying this would last for another year or two. Now we're saying this might last for a longer time, maybe 3 to 5 years, even if we have the vaccines. Now, the vaccines are there. The whole process of really reaching out and getting getting the people to have a herd immunity is also a humongous process that we will still go through. So, okay, my top two again is, of course, let's inventory our key strengths. So, number one, where am I best at? Okay, where am I best at? What is my passion? So, pang sinabing passion, what things makes my heart pound? What makes my eyes cry? And what makes my feet jump for joy? Parang ganon. So, there is a book by Tom Rath. It's done by Kellogg's University, itong Strengths Finder. So in Strengths Finder, I'd like to recommend it to everybody. I'm not an agent or a distributor of Strengths Finder, but it has helped our organization, for example, in Premier Family Business Consulting. All of us have taken the Strengths Finder, and we have like five key. There are like five themes, strength themes. Five strength themes. So, in those five strength themes, you have, like, for example, for me, there's strategic, there's communication, there's futuristic, there's input. So, maraming ganon. No? So, there's like 16 strength themes that you can use. Kung, sorry to use the comparison, kumbaga sa matching between husband and wife, it's really finding out what you're best at and what your colleague is best at. No? So, I would recommend that people would go and buy this book, and probably, other than the Practical Entrepreneur book from Jason, this is a good book, I think, that you can really use. It's a result of so many years of research. So, knowing your strengths, how can I use this to move forward in 2021? For example, in my own experience, I'm not really a very super duper good executor, but I'm good at ideation. I'm good at strategic. I'm also good in communication. Well, primarily because I have a public school teacher mom who's major in English, and I have a dad who's really very good in communication skills. So that's where I learned it. But I also have futuristic. So it's like, when I see things, it's like I can like see 4 or 5 steps ahead of what's going to happen. So that's a strength. And I think, but when you talk to me about nitty-gritties, like very specific details, that's the difficulty I have, no? Because I'm not a details person. But there are people in our organization who are people. So when you combine these strengths, that's the time na, kaya nga sabi ko, there should be number two, inventory of key strengths. So what are the strengths of the people around me, or who should I work with, or who can I work with? For example, um, usually it's not a gender thing, but I think women are really very good in details. I find them very diligent in their studies. I have five sisters, and they're all very diligent. And I'm like, uh, my study habits are not as perfect. But you see, ganon eh, merong complementation. So when you have like partners in business, or even if you are an organization, an SME, that you can partner with, for example, what's happening here in this practical entrepreneur series, a lot of businesses and partner because they can work together given these conditions. So, okay, so okay, part of I think the lesson that we need to understand, we really need to be straightforward. What lessons or where did I fail? Remember that failure is not something to be, well, it's not something to be ashamed of. It's not also, maybe when you say, I failed. Sometimes I when I talk to students who are in engineering, if you don't fail in math, sabi nila, hindi ka daw engineering student. But the thing there is, if you fail, you have to retake it. I think I even have classes in college that I failed as well, no? But it gave me the strength to really go on and try to be better at the things that I am not good at. So failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success, sabi nga. Which aspects of my business need to improve? That's the number two question in where did I fail? So if your business, I realized, for example, in my own consulting business, I realized that there are some startups really are closer to my heart because although it's not really at this point, shall we say, very lucrative. I mean, the money is with the bigger companies, but that's not the point. Your passion is really to help people start up. You're like a mentor. So I feel closer to people who are starting up, and I was part of a big corporate groups in telco, but much of my latter years were involved with really putting up startups and really growing them and partnering with some other bigger partners. So another question that we need to ask is, which part of me needs to improve? So I understand that in my own personal experience, I need to really grow. I need to get more. I need to be more. I need to get accreditation for some things that I need to learn. So if you're thinking of Six Sigma, if you're thinking of like no, getting accounting for accountants or something like that, I think that's a good that you need to understand which part of you needs to improve. Or which part of my company, whether it's an SME or it's a micro enterprise, which part of that company needs to improve. Number four, what mindsets do I need that need to transform? Alam mo, people have there's this study. It's called IOPT. It deals with relationship trauma. So sometimes our relationships in the past cause us to distrust ourselves. No, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. I can't do this. I can't do that. So that part of you needs to transform. You have to come face to face with the things that you feel. Ako, like I suffered from parang I don't think my decisions are right. So you need to come face to face with that and really have that confidence, have that strength to overcome that. Then number five question: what is my highest potential as a person? What is my highest potential as a question? Remember, this is where our big question is, where did I fail? But also that question in number five is, what is my highest potential as a person? So when I ask people what's your highest potential? Kasi usually, di ba, we're so used to SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So there's an alternate way to analyze it, which is called appreciative inquiry. So it's really asking that, what is your highest potential as a person? Or what is the highest potential of my business? Regardless of the adversity that's happening all over, I mean, we need to ask this question. Okay, so I go now to my number 4. What are the things that I did right and succeeded? So, sabi nila, there was a mathematician, his name's Rene Descartes. So, he said, cogito ergo sum. So, I think, therefore I am. So, right now, what is our greatest asset? It's us, right? It's our businesses. We're alive. We're still here. So, in the course of being with Bounce Back, there's a lot of organizations that have really adjusted or adopted to the what's happening now in in the country. So we just need to appreciate that, be grateful that we're still here, and of course, um, let's go on and move forward, no? Because there's no other way. There's no other way. We cannot lie in our seats and not do anything. So okay, so number 2, what are the things that I did right and I succeeded? So number 2, the second question is, bigger players seem to have suffered and the field has leveled somehow. How can I take advantage of this? So for example, in tourism or in the auto industry or in the many industries that are there, ang daming nagbago, and I think the next question is, so if am I a big fish or am I a fast fish? So sabi nila, the fast fish will get the food, not the big fish at this point in time, because the big fish is also affected. Number 4, am I a whale in an ocean or a fish in an aquarium? Iba pagka ikaw yung fish in the aquarium, ikaw yung siga in that area. If you're a whale in an ocean, despite your bigness, the ocean is much bigger than you, no? So what are we saying is these are the times that we need to look at our immediate markets. And if we look at our immediate markets, that's the time that, later I'll be discussing about the micro economies that's happening now, the sharing economy that's happening now. So number 5, what opportunities emerge in the crisis? Then number 6, what is my turnaround strategy in the midst of the crisis? So turnaround strategy doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be fantastic. Everyone has suffered. Maybe everybody I know has suffered to some extent, some form of mental health issue, some form of distrust of self, some form of what do I do next, and don't mind it, because everybody's going through it, believe me. So that's the idea. So now we go to number 5. What can be done where I am with what I still have? Where am I in the first place? Number 1 question, where should I start? Ako, right now, I'm working from home. We gave up our office because we felt that, the office is good for so many people. And right now, we're all working from home. So we don't have any use for that office. So we just need to really improve. If this is the place where I can move the earth, then this is the place where I will move the earth. Number 2 question, where will my focus area be? Number 3 is, which opportunities are ripe for the taking? Number 4, with what I have, what stride and steps should I take first to get to my goal? Number 5, are there people or family members who can help me? So again, we go back to family. So if you're in a business or if you're an entrepreneur, who are the first people who can help you? Diba, it's your family. So I think this is the time where we can uh, really think smaller. When I say think smaller, we think in terms of smaller scale, and then from there begin that and scale bigger. Of course, our human nature drives us to dream of a lot of things, to dream of bigger things. But again, in the practical entrepreneurship course or in the practical learning series or here in Bounce Back, we really try to be more practical. No? The theories are there, of course, these are good, but then again, the practical things that we need to do have to come first. So my number 6 question is, how and where can I get support? So I'll go to number 7, then later I'll share screen. I'll just entertain some questions for part 1, and then we will go to part 2. Okay. So number 1, can my family members and relatives support me in my business? Number 2, are there associations, groups that I can join to get referrals? A lot of people are joining BNI or Rotary or Kiwanis or Lions to get referrals for business. I mean, BCI. So these are things that you can do. Are there entrepreneur groups I can join to learn from? Of course, you can join Bounce Back, PH. And then there are also a lot of groups like Go Negosyo. Ako personally, I used to be with the Philippine Marketing Association, and that really helped me a lot. We used to be in the ad board as well, the advertising board of the Philippines. Now it's defunct. Nahalata yung age. Are there, where can I get training for my business? So there's a lot of courses now that's free. And like this one. So you learn from mentors like us, or even shall we say bigger mentors who are now out there to really teach people, to really help people, to give their 2 cents worth, to really help people recover. So take advantage of that. There's Coursera, there's so many things out there. So take advantage of that. Can private sector partners help me grow despite the crisis? Again, like when I was discussing the strengths, no, maybe there are private sector partners that you can join with or partner with, and there you can really get support from them. Number 7, this is the last for my part 1. What tools do I need to restart, and where do I get them? So number 1 question is, how can I optimize what I have now to start moving forward? I'm in a room. I have my Mac. I have my ring light. I have a car. I have, very, very few things that I can work with. But these are tools that I can start moving forward. I have some cash. I have some savings. These are the things that I can use to move forward, right? Some of you are probably bigger. You're entrepreneurs or bigger companies or bigger SMEs. And you have the resources, no? To access. Right now, government is providing access to some funds here and there. So we just need to research on which ones are really available right now. So number 2, what tools, services, or third-party support do I need to move my business forward? So before, I used to deliver stuff. Contracts, NDAs, MOAs, I used to bring them to. So there's third party now. There's Lala Move. There's everybody. So these are third party services that we can really use to support our business. So maximize this. The prices have become pay per use. So it's not subscription models now. So it's really pay per use. So that really keeps our costs low. So number 3. Can I actually do my business at the fraction of a cost by partnering with others? Again, this is like aligning with others to really have to partner with them so you can get your costs can be lowered. Kanina yung sinasabi natin is lower cost, kumbaga earn more, spend less. Yeah. Are there shared services I can use to lower my costs and make my business model more efficient and more agile? Number 5, how do I use online more efficiently across my products and services? So what I'll do now is I'll try to share screen, but before that, siguro let's entertain questions first. Okay. Okay, so we have Riselli, we have BGH Radio. You can post questions now. Actually, we can give before I go to part two, where I will share my screen again. Okay. So with that, I'll just try to share my screen right now. Okay, just a minute. So I hope our operators can get this. All right. So share screen. Okay. Can you see? Okay. I suppose you can see now. All right. So all right. These are I've done my homework. So I did some ano ba yung 10 trends that's happening now during the pandemic. Of course, these are not all of it, but these are some of it. And like I said, I'll go to part two. So before yun, some questions are coming in from the cell phone. So all right. So number one is I will explain these things one by one later. So one is hyper localization. That's one thing. Mainstreaming of contactless transactions, resource spending rationalization. I'll explain that later. Rise of micromobility. Oh, this you know probably. Reinvention of tourism, and then move towards renewables for sustainability, ubiquity of internet access, narrowing of the digital divide in smartphone penetration. This is very important. Rise of telemedicine and mainstreaming of the SOHO, small office or home office. Some people have termed it differently. I think this is my way of terming it or putting terms to some phenomenon that's happening in our world right now. So number one, hyper localization. So you see a lot of local barter clubs, local selling and exchange groups. So this is one very near my house. I live in Quezon City. So ito, meron tayong mga printer ink with but one to one. Are you tired of printing, etc. So they're selling in groups. Small groups is Project 2, 3, and 4 in Cubao and Cubao in Quezon City. So local selling na to, exchange groups. This is hyper localization of the market. No, before you used to sell to so many people. Now it's really hyper localization. If you're a micro entrepreneur, these are opportunities. This is the best way to level the playing field, diba? And to really be in touch with your market. If you're a startup considering selling stuff in the city or municipality where local deliveries can be made, all right. So mainstreaming of contactless transaction. It so happened that, well, again, I'm from Quezon City. I think they paid out some 400, if I'm not mistaken, some 400,000 people for the SAP, yung social amelioration program. So in the first wave, pahirapan because they needed to distribute that money to the ayuda to the people that were supposed to receive it. So they were having problems or issues. So they eventually talked to GCash, Paymaya. They eventually spoke with or negotiated with the remittance companies to transfer the money to these people. So the contactless, although sa remittance centers meron pa ring contact. So for the opportunities, this is the best time to utilize cash payment apps and APIs. For app developers, this is a heyday for fintech ideas and concepts. No? For retailers, merchants, you can push your products at a fraction of the cost. Pati yung logistics sometimes comes with it. Like for reselling, you can upload your products in the reselling platform. You can ask me about that later. I will give you my contact numbers for reselling. And then you can put your products there at no cost. And then it's a turnkey pati deliveries. Resource spending rationalization. So we know that, well, for example, Nissan has closed down its operation. Nissan is very memorable to me because this is one of my creative selling partners way back when I was still in telco. So we were able to sell telco equipment for every car that came out of Nissan. So Nissan is really close to my heart, and I've had several Nissan cars in the past. No? So nagkakaroon ng shrinking. No? One is property market, the automobile industry. There's a strong second-hand market. I know firsthand because friends are doing buying and selling for cars. So ang dami bumibili talaga ng second-hand. Because the thing there is, oh, I don't have to pay amortization. I'm not saying that we should do that because it's an option. No? But it's gaining ground because people have money. Well, those who have money are buying cars and they don't want to go for amortization, but that also affects the economy. So people are rethinking investments from savings to short-term investments to insurances. So there's a lot of things that's happening. So you see, like payment platforms are offering insurance. Payment platforms are offering so many things. So what are the opportunities? These are hyper-targeted investments. We need now to really think about targeting our investments and not really spending so much on trying to throw a wide net. No? Then number 3, buying machinery that will really produce value or wealth. No? In the course of the pandemic, so my son, he's 18 years old. So his mom said, why don't you buy stuff that will really earn money from you? So he bought printing machines, etc. He bought cutting machines to print out t-shirts and stuff like that, premium items. So he's doing his business now, doing that as a young entrepreneur. So sabi ko, oh nga, no, if you can buy such equipment at that age and you can start doing business with that, that's really very good. So also investing in pandemic-friendly ventures. Pangit yung term pandemic-friendly, but you can use other terms. There are ventures that are really going strong in the pandemic. No? In my show, in the other network, the Family Business, I've interviewed Marvin Tiu Lim of Mega Sardines. I've also interviewed Mylene Abiba of Felta. And these two companies are really gaining ground this pandemic. Of course, Mega Sardines because of the ayuda. No? People are going back to basics. They're buying sardines because at 17 pesos, you have protein. Felta naman is selling also all these tablets and gadgets that are for education. And since we're all studying from home, it's really helping a lot. So, okay. So let me move forward. Rise of micromobility. So there's really rise in electric vehicle sales. Well, at least the scooters, and then also rise in bicycle sales. I, for one, have bought 2 bicycles. I intend to buy 1 more. These are not the expensive ones. I just bought Japanese bicycles. It's really practical, and they're really sturdy. Things like that. So there are opportunities. So mobilizing bike communities as markets, mobilizing EV communities as markets. Also, you might want to go into distribution of bikes and EVs, electric vehicles or scooters. Grabe na kasi because we don't go too far. We don't go to the provinces. We just stay in Metro Manila for those of us in Manila. And for those in the rural areas, they also can just fly in and out, So micromobility, you move around your own community and you do your work from home there, everything. So that's why there's a rise in micromobility, which is good in a way, which is good for our environment, but not necessarily good for the economy because our economy needs activity. So reinvention of tourism. So I'm part of the trustees of Turismo.ph. We were really affected. We run an app that's a tourism booking app. So that's also been affected, although we're able to adapt and we're learning new things as well. So you're familiar with the closure of the Makati Shangri-La. No? So we need to find out the opportunities here. We have to rethink tourism models adapting to the pandemic crisis. We need to localize access to tourism following pandemic protocols. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon pa rin ng tourism but really much more limited and also following protocols. And then how do we integrate LGU industry and people approaches to reviving tourism in the localities? All right. So, okay, medyo naubusan na ako ng hininga. So I'll move towards renewables. So this is almost a few more slides. No? Move towards renewables for sustainability. So if you look at it, malapit na pala yung time ko. I'll move forward. So move there's move towards renewables and green technology. So number one, we have to rethink opportunities in renewables. We need to develop low carbon footprint enterprises. These are opportunities that we see. Green and natural design for homes and buildings, because marami ng plantito, plantita, people are staying more at their homes. So we need to really improve the home. And then, of course, you've heard of Starlink project of Elon Musk. So we're looking at, I think, the completion of this towards, I'm not sure of the date, but eventually there'll be ubiquitous internet access. We have the entry of Dito Telecoms in the Philippines. We have the drive towards municipal internet access for work and education. So all the LGUs are also trying to come up with free Wi-Fi programs. Even Congress is doing that. So the opportunities, of course, is the development of apps for people and communities. Also, developing of trading apps. No, yung of course, there's Reselly, there's other apps that you can trade with. No, so those are opportunities. Also, e-learning and social learning opportunities. Not to mention gaming. I'll mention that later. So, okay. So, there's a narrowing of the digital divide in smartphone penetration. Ang sabi nila, the projection was the 100% penetration of the market by 2020. But that did not happen. But again, of course, that's an opportunity because people now, the rise of opportunities for social e-commerce like Reselly, and then mobile gaming and mobile commerce markets, then better e-learning and social learning opportunities. So yon. And then, of course, the rise of telemedicine. So we have Jason and Joji here, I think. So hindi available yung tertiary hospitals. There's too many people there. Fear of COVID-19 infection in secondary and primary hospitals, convenience of access, and then the cost of access. So the opportunities is really the expansion of health and wellness advocacies and products and services. Number two, yung expansion of medical and the paramedical practice. Also, opportunities in telemedicine and apps and electronic medical records digitization. In the US, they have HIPAA law. I think with some friends, we were one of the pioneers in the EMR in 2000, I think 2004 or 2005, we were already doing EMR, electronic medical records. But, now it's maturing very well. So anyway, lastly, there's the mainstreaming of SOHO, in small home and office. Drive towards home-based work from home facilities. Drive towards stronger and faster internet connections. Then, of course, the opportunities is home improvement and mga hardware, the hardwares of this world, computer sales, furnitures and fixtures, demand for high-speed internet, demand for telecommuting software. The reason why I'm discussing all of these is for us to be able to see possible opportunities. So I'll share a video of, I don't know if you know Dan Locke. He's really he's a speaker. He started out as a PR man. Now he has a series. He's teaching people about wealth and how to manage wealth. So he has this 9 industries that will make you a millionaire. So I want to share this with you. This is from Dan Locke. And I think this still holds true. So sabi niya, find where the money is, find where the fish is. So I'll share this video with you. And please listen. All right. This is an 8-minute video. And right after that, we can go right into the questions.
When I was a little kid, when I was about 10 years old, my dad and I, we would go fishing. And my dad would always get on this little boat, and we would kind of take the boat to about 30 minutes away from the city that was in Hong Kong, and we would fish in that area. And as a little kid, I'll ask my dad, why do I have to get on a boat and go to this area? Why couldn't we just fish like where we are? Like, why would we have to make this trip? And my dad would say to me, well, son, that's where the fish is. And I always remember that lesson, just like the reporter asks the famous bank robber, like, why do you keep robbing the bank? Because that's where the money is, right? It's the same idea. As an entrepreneur, choosing the right industry is very, very critical. And there are many industries that we could get into, right? And sometimes I think we are overconfident as an entrepreneur, and we say we could go into any industry, sell any product, offer any service and provide solution, and we could be very successful doing that. I think that's simply not true. So today I'm going to share with you 9 industries that are most likely to make you a millionaire. And if that's your goal, there are many industries that you could get into. Now, I'm not talking about like gimmicks and tricks like cryptocurrency or winning the lottery. I'm talking about legitimate, proven industries that have created millionaires and billionaires. Industry number 1 that is most likely that will make you a millionaire, and that is financial services. Now, when I say financial services, I'm talking about the management of money lending, or management of assets. We're talking about the loan associations, banks, financial companies, insurance companies, brokerage. A lot of those firms are very, very wealthy because there's a lot of money in money. One of the things I've learned from one of my mentors, he said to me, Dan, don't ever forget, the money is in the money. There's a lot of money to be made just by managing, handling, investing money. Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, became a billionaire by providing financial data to the financial industry. Industry number 2, technology. Now, you know the Google, the Facebook, the Apple, but we're talking beyond that. Think about traditional industries that you could go into, maybe by using technology, what you could do to disrupt that industry. And you can see that a lot. Now we call that disruptors, right? How could you use technology to make things more efficient? We're talking about robotics. We're talking about AI. We're talking about automation. We're talking about manufacture of these technology products, or even providing technology as service. Billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of value are going to be created in this particular sector. So are you a technology entrepreneur? Industry number 3, health care. My mentor, Dan Pena, the $50 billion man, talks about this a lot, healthcare, because people are willing to spend a lot of money to live longer. So healthcare I'm referring to could be assisted living, senior homes, pharmaceutical, any products or services that will help people to live longer life and stay healthier. That's very, very good industry to get into. Industry number 4, real estate and construction. United Nations forecast predicts by 2025, the world's population will increase to almost 8 billion people. 8 billion people. By 2050, it would be almost 10 billion people. That's 10 million people on this little planet by 2050. Now, what does that mean? Where's the opportunity? We all need a place to sleep in, to play in, to entertain, to go to shop. Real estate and construction. Industry number 5, education. With all the changes, all the technological changes that are happening, knowledge becomes very, very critical. People want to learn. They want to equip themselves with skill sets. And that's the space that I am in the education and software space, because I could see the opportunity happening right now in front of us to connect individuals, people, professionals to 21st century skills and job opportunities. Now, within education, you could also have products and services and software that helps people in many different ways. So we have traditional education, but we also have alternative education, education outside of the school systems, right? And it doesn't always have to be academic. It could be other types of education that could help people to lead a better life. Education, huge business. Industry number 6, entertainment and recreation. Beyond than just education, people want to be entertained. In fact, people demand entertainment. You look at all these big companies getting into the entertainment industry. Now, what am I talking about? Movies, animations, productions, special effects. There's so many companies going into that industry. Amazon Prime, of course, you have Netflix, Hulu, right? Disney Plus. I could go on and on and on. Why? Because this is where we are going. Now, on the other hand, thinking about industries who help and facilitate this particular industry, but also we're talking about influencers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, right? Now, for the first time, you have people in that industry. Stand-up comedians could make millions doing that. Before you couldn't. Most of the time they struggle. But now we are in this age of people want entertainment. So if you can find a way to create a product or service or company around this to service this particular industry or to service this demand, you can also make millions. Industry number 7, transportation. Now, human beings, we like to travel. As now with the internet, the more we see, the more we don't always want to be stuck in a house. We want to go out there and see things. So air transportation, aerospace, huge opportunities. But also think about now people buying online, shopping online. Where do you think the opportunity could be? handling shipping packages. I'm not just talking about FedEx or UPS or DHL. Think of something like Uber Eats. People like stuff being delivered to them, as now people are shopping more and more online. This is a huge industry just by being able to provide service or product. It could be as simple as providing software to help these companies to manage their inventory better, right? Or the shipping handling better. That could be easily a multi-million-dollar business. Industry number 8, energy, especially renewable energy. So going beyond than just oil and gas, now we're talking about solar or wind, right? So with billions and billions of people, we all need power. We need more power to power up our devices and our technology. So that's huge industry. If you could come up with creative solutions that could solve this problem, not just millions, it could be billions of dollars. But you need to have certain team, you need to have an understanding of how this whole thing works, and you need to be able to work with government to how to execute this properly. But there's definitely a lot of money to be made in energy. Industry number 9, food. Now, with billions of people, not only we need power, right? We need a place to live in. We also need to eat. So in the food industry, that's not going to go away. With so many people on the planet, we need more cost-effective, more efficient way to create food, right? To produce food, to feed so many people. So what do we need to do? Again, maybe you can come up with some solutions that could go into these certain industries. And I'm not just talking about fast food, because with so many options, people want healthier choices as well. And to me, supplements, health type products, all those products fall into this category. If people are eating it and taking it to want to have a healthier life, yes, that falls into this as well. So those are the 9 industries that I believe that are most likely to make you a millionaire. But you also combine that with your skills, your background, and your know-how. Getting into the right industry is one thing, but you also need to be the right person in the right industry in order to make it big. Does that make sense? If this is the first time you're watching my video, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and turn on your notification, and hit that button every single day I upload a video on entrepreneurship, on business, on wealth creation. Comment below, say hi, click the like button if this is the first time you're watching my video. When I was a little kid.
So anyway, I'll stop sharing. Okay, so we're back. Hello guys. Now we're open to questions. Thank you for staying with us. I just hope, okay, so, all right, let me see. Okay. So just bring in your questions. This is now the Q&A portion. We'd like to thank everybody for joining the Practical Coaching Series, but we're not yet done. If you have questions, please go ahead. Okay. All right, so there's a question here, and it says like, of the industries mentioned, which do you think are going to be top on the list? So I mentioned some industries earlier, diba? Maybe my answer to that is, parang halos lahat ng major industries nasabi ni Dan Locke, no? Pero ako, I think, I'm thinking, of course, the food will never, medyo ang tinamaan lang doon yung transportation, but he mentioned naman, diba, that transportation is not about, it's like the Grab food, it's like the Lala Move, things like this, no, that will really be big business. So we can do that even sa local. Kaya nga, diba, sabi ko kanina, merong hyper localization. Kahit sa local areas, we can do that. We can start yung mga bike deliveries. It doesn't have to be big. You just need to yung community mo, you just need a certain number of people, and then we can you just deliver there, and that's it, diba? That's money. Remember that, like I said in the beginning of this live practical coaching series, and in this maiden issue, we are at the economy where we are comparing ourselves to when we just came out of World War II, and that was physical devastation. Manila was sira-sira, everybody. All the major cities were, well, the major city in the country, Manila, was really destroyed. But in a way, we are not as worse because the lives of people are still there. We did not lose. Well, some lives were lost, but you know, we're still here. We're still bouncing back. We're still trying to shine. We still have this practical coaching series. So I think at the end of the day, it's really giving support to each other. We just need to support each other. All right, so there are more questions. You can send your questions to Sir Nato. Ayun na. So, what else? Okay, so the other question was about yung micro-mobility. So do you think this is going to be a big trend? It's already becoming a big trend, di ba? Ako nga, I don't have that scooter, but I really want to buy it. It's like, for me, it's like, this is a toy that I'd like to have, di ba? To go around the barangay. I'm a barangay kagawad, so just to go around the barangay, maybe using that scooter, di ba? So, what else in terms of ano? Okay. So usually what I have is every teaching sessions I have I have the word of the day. So if you still would like to ask questions, you can ask questions. But I'd like to get this. I'd like to have what I call the word of the day for everyone. So it's in Psalm 90:12, and it says, "Lord, so teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom." So I think the essence of this verse is really how should we spend our time? How should we spend our time during this pandemic? We really need to consider our family. Of course, it's family first. Then after that, we need to consider our immediate circles. Where will this business go to? The people we have relied on in the past, these are the same people we can rely on to, and then probably discover new partners. So with that, maybe we will have more questions. You can ask me questions. I have a business advisor page. It's called Nato Agbayani, of course. And also you can visit our site. It's at Inspire Asia in Facebook. So we'd like to thank Riselli, Union Bank Global Linker, GPTV, who else? ShopLive, Lalamove. They're smaller na yung mga logos. So di ko memorize on behalf of Bounce Back Network. Of course, we'd like to thank everyone for joining this maiden issue of the Practical Coaching Series. We pray that we will have more. I think a lot of we are all volunteer coaches here or mentors here in the Practical Coaching Series. We thank God that we have people really supporting this. Maiden issue talaga. So it's a maiden episode of our Practical Coaching series. So in the future, I think almost 100 people have signed up to coach you and mentor you. And please let us know how we can help you. You can contact me at inspireasianow@gmail.com. You can also visit me at that's the Inspire Asia page. Also, I'm also available at Nato Agbayani, the business advisor page. And then we will also have many more videos that will be available on the Bounce Back pages just for this. So on behalf of Bounce Back Network, Bounce Back PH Movement, Jason, Jellic, Sam, all the people who have been helping us since March last year. Thank you for giving your time and effort. Also, thank you for all the volunteer coaches and mentors that have joined the Practical Coaching Series. We hope that you will learn a lot from the Practical Coaching Series that you can use to really survive and thrive through this pandemic. So with that, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for joining us in the first episode of the Practical Coaching Series. So thank you, everyone, and God bless you. See you in the next Practical Coaching Series. And yeah, digital is forever. All right. Bye-bye. God bless you, everyone. Thank you.
SMEs are the backbone of the Philippine economy. Union Bank has laid down the groundwork for creating an ecosystem helping businesses through an integrated user experience connecting key stakeholders in the ecosystem. SMEs can now have immediate access to financial service providers, points of sale or POS, accounting, inventory, human resources, tax and payroll services, supply chain management, and providing business communities and engagement in B2B and B2C marketplaces. In building that ecosystem, Union Bank Global Linker was born. It's an online platform with social networking capabilities that help SMEs manage and grow their businesses. On their first year of launch, they already have 33,000 SMEs signed up in the platform. Their promise: to become a one-stop hub for business owners. 4 pillars. Network with potential partners and suppliers from a global network of SMEs. Engage with thought leaders and create your own topics for discussion. Avail exclusive deals and offers from business solutions that will help aid an SME's business. Create a DIY e-commerce shop, linker.store.
I think one major role that Global Linker plays is its ability to create a digital platform that for business growth. It's a huge help because it provides for an app view where businesses can interact, learn, and at the same time expand their networks.
Well, as a social media platform, Global Linker helps build the community of SMEs and link them to the right markets, suppliers, financiers, and advisors.
I've actually established a contact in Philippines who is interested in my product, and we are working on ways how we can do that. So hopefully, it materializes.
The future of the SME sector in the Philippines is endless. With fintech, business growth can accelerate by breaking down barriers, setting up important connections, and moving daily activities. Success is definite. It's just waiting to happen. The growth of SME filters to all levels of the Philippine society. This sector employs more than 60% of Filipinos. So many lives will be transformed with the success of SMEs. Union Bank Global Linker will be there to make it happen.